across the street, singing along to our favorite songs.
Well, hello, and welcome to the show. I'm Nadia Jordana, and you are watching a special edition of It's a Woman's World. I've got two guests coming on the program today, and we're going to be talking one-on-one with, first up, Andria Poston, Pastor Andria Poston. She's the author of Sister Squad Vibes. And after that, I have author Debbie Russell. She's the author of Crossing 51. Two very different authors, two very different books, two very interesting stories. So let's not hang around here. Let's go find out what's going on with these two authors. Welcome to the show, Andria.
Oh, thanks for having me, Nadia. Been looking forward to it.
It's so great to have you here. I have a copy of your book, and I'll have to admit, it's one of those books that you don't put away after you've gone through it. I started working through it because it is a workbook. I started working through it.
Yeah.
But I have to make a confession. I enjoyed your letters so much. Each of the sections starts with a Bible quote and then a letter from you.
Yes.
You've got the process to work through, and the letters were so good, and
yes,
that I actually read through every week in here.
and
just read your letters as if I were reading an entire book. And of course, I'll read them again when I work through the sections. But I wanted you to know that that is how enjoyable your letters are.
Oh, thank you so much. Yeah, that was the inspiration for the women's group that we host on Saturday mornings. And from that group on Mondays, I would just post a personal message to them every Monday morning for 52 weeks. I think it was more than that, but it was during the pandemic that we kind of just wanted to just encourage, the women, in that group to just go out, starting Mondays, the work week, the beginning, like, okay, you guys are going out today. Here's a positive message for you. And so that was my inspiration every Monday morning. God would just seem like he would just download something and I would kind of go from there, and it blessed their lives. So I was happy for that.
So you were leading, this came about because you were leading a group.
Yes.
And this was essentially the process you and the group used during the pandemic and through a period of over a year or a little bit over.
Oh, yeah. It was over 2 years that we met every Saturday morning. Now, Shantae James, who is the publisher of my book, she was the lead person in the group, and I would come on and speak to the women. So she spearheaded getting everybody, together. But in that group, we kind of just women came from everywhere, and we gelled together and just gave positive messages, and whatever the Lord, said to each and every one of us, we kind of shared that, but then God would give me a message to share with them. So that's kind of how everything got started.
So you kind of had a plan in mind to help these women, and that's essentially what the book is patterned after, is that plan. Is that correct?
Yes, that's correct. So even with the Saturday mornings, we knew after that meeting, it was just so much more that maybe was just left on the table per se. And it's like, okay, we need more to kind of, help us, throughout the week. And so a lot of us in that group were given a charge for somebody to do something in the group on Tuesdays, someone Wednesdays, Thursdays, Fridays, Saturdays, so that we would all be encouraged through the week, so we could go to the women's group on Facebook and kind of see what that sister, posted that week. And so it was just a group of women to just continue to encourage one another and pour in to one another. And that's how we got started. And that's really how this book was birthed. Yes.
So at some point along the way, you decided to share this with the rest of the world.
Yes.
And put that all together in a book. I'm really glad that you did. And I think the readers will be absolutely thrilled also. Say a little bit more about that publisher.
The publisher, yes, Midwest Creations Publishing, here in St. Louis, Missouri. Shantae Hadley. She is the president of that company. And I mean, she did such an amazing job with this particular book. She put so much extra, things into it. She helped along the way. She gave guidance along the way. It was just a blessing that she was there to kind of guide me along the way. And it was just an amazing, this company here in St. Louis, it's just getting off the ground. They've been in operations now for 3 years, but I mean, they do some really great work here in St. Louis. So I'm just happy that I was a part of their company to get my book out.
Absolutely. That's terrific. Do you have some advice I would put this book in, correct me if I have it wrong, in the self-help spiritual category?
Definitely yes. Definitely self-help spiritual category, because it is a book where you have several things that you can work through, individually. During the week, you have a day where you can think it through. Thursday, you have Tuesdays where you can kind of do certain activities. It gives you those tools where you can just kind of keep up, step by step. And at the same time that you're keeping up step by step, you're growing, spiritually, you're growing mentally. And so it definitely is a self-help book in regards to, I mean, nothing takes away, from the Word of God itself. But in this book, I give scriptures, I give, you some guidance there. So definitely.
I like that. And I also noticed and enjoyed the part where you bring in opportunities to work with your tribe, your group of women, and involve them in your growth. And I think that, and then there were parts and pieces like I would go through and I would say, I don't know if I feel like doing that one, but
Yes,
then
definitely.
I had a week and says that one I want to do this week. I'll come back to that one a little bit.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, the process, like I said, it's a process, that you kind of, can work through. And then the part that was great for me is vibing, with your squad, so you're vibing, with God, and then you're vibing, with your squad, and then you're vibing with yourself. So you're getting all three pieces there. You're putting God first, and then it's okay, how can I help the people, that I'm pouring into or speaking into the lives of? And then how do I get something also for myself? And so it's for me, it was well-rounded enough that everybody could get what they needed, I felt.
Absolutely well-rounded, and you put that perfectly.
Yes.
How about a little bit of advice to other authors like yourself who might be thinking about doing a book that would be not like your book, but along those lines, and might want a little encouragement?
Okay. I would say to those authors that are just getting started, just like I was at first, it was a little bit of fear there, and you kind of have it already within you, like, I know this book is going to be great, for someone. For them to read and to, get everything that you have on the inside of you. I would say first, just start writing. That's the first thing. And then find that I call it, find that lane that that God is leading you in. I would settle in it. Definitely do a lot of exploring, a lot of research also, because even with my book, I had not found anything else out there like mine, in a way that it was speaking into the lives of women, where they again could do certain things, and where it was interactive, sort of like our Bible study is interactive. But anyway, the advice that I would say is just do it. Don't give second thoughts about it. If you've written it out, kind of you want to sometimes get, the opinions of others. How do you think this is going to work out? Or do you think others would read it, and things like that? But definitely settle into your writing. Don't be afraid to do it, and get you a good publishing company. And I would say just go for it.
That is fantastic, Andrea. And we're running just about out of time, but this has been great. I'm going to make sure the audience has the information. I'll put it on
Thank
the
you.
screen. Thanks a lot, Andrea, and thank you for being on the show today.
Thank you, Nadia, for having me.
Welcome to the show, Debbie.
Thank you so much, Nadia.
I'm really happy to have you on the show. You and I know each other because we belong to the same writers group, and I've been following your latest project here. And what I'd like to hear from you, the viewers would like to hear, is tell us about the book. Tell us what your book is about.
Well, my book is, I like to say in one sentence, it's 3 generations of midlife crises, all set the stage for one dream to come true. And it's a story of my grandfather, kind of his midlife crisis, my midlife crisis, and even throughout, we get little hints of my dad's midlife crisis. So it's 3 generations: my grandfather, my dad, and myself. And My grandfather's was about 4 months long. He stayed in a locked federal drug rehabilitation center voluntarily. He was a well-known, successful doctor who became addicted to Demerol and decided this was the only way that he could get himself straightened out. And my midlife crisis happened as my dad was accepted into hospice, and I was faced with losing him and losing the Russell lineage. And I just felt like I had to document and take down everything about the family. And so that's how the book all sort of came together.
You have you been writing all your life? I know you've been a lawyer by profession, so there's got to be a story in there somewhere. But was it always your dream from high school or grammar school to be a writer?
I like to say when I read Harriet the Spy when I was a kid, and she was the girl that wrote everything in the notebooks about everybody. And I started writing in notebooks when I was probably fourth or fifth grade. And I kept those notebooks through high school. I actually threw them out at some point. I decided I just wanted to be done. Yep. And I really didn't do any creative writing again until around 2014. And I've now learned that legal writing is very different from actual creative storytelling. And I just started a blog as a way of sort of keeping track of things that were happening to me. And they were just little short essays. And I didn't show them to anybody for at least a year. And then I got brave and shared them with people. And one of the things people said to me was that I was relatable. Like they could relate to things that I had written about. And so when I decided to write this book, I thought, well, it'll either just be for me and the family, or it'll be something for a greater audience. And that's what I've hoped the book would accomplish.
What was the actual catalyst, the trigger that got you really to decide to get started and actually do this book?
Well, I left my job at the county attorney's office. I don't like to call it retirement, Nadia. I just feel like I was able to leave my job at age 55 and get a pension. And so I knew I was going to have time. And I don't have as much money as I once had, but I have the freedom of time, as I like to call it. And I really felt right after I was finished with the county attorney's office, finished with life as a lawyer, I couldn't just sit around. It was October of 2020. The pandemic was still in full force. It made for good writing time. And so I really did set a goal to try to get this whole thing pulled together, because my grandfather's stories came out of a file folder of letters that he had written from this rehab center. And so I had these letters. I had transcribed the letters. So they were going to be part of this book. And then I just had to figure out, how did I want to weave past and present together in some sort of coherent way. But when you no longer have that full-time job and you have a lot of time, there's really no excuse to put it off. So I thought, I've got to just do this.
Do you expect now to have any other books in the works in the coming years?
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. In fact, I think my next book is going to be the book that everyone wants me to write. It's about the biggest case I ever prosecuted, the Amy Sensor case and trial and media coverage. And I plan to work in my own what I've decided is my unique take on things, which is kind of a mashup of different things. And I'm going to, the working title right now is Surviving Censor, a True Crime Travel Adventure. Because I went on a road trip with my dog the month before this trial. Most people would not have done that, but I had to do it. And so I'm excited. I'm going to get back to it this fall. You know this, Nadia. What do we do in winter? We need to write because there's just not much else we can do unless we're able to get somewhere warm.
I was going to say, what does your dog think about your writing? But I'll rephrase that and ask you how your family and friends have reacted to your book.
You know, it's been really amazing. My aunt, who plays a really important role in the book and in my life, has really come around from being a little uncertain about the whole thing because it really sort of pulled this curtain back on a family secret that nobody knew anything about. And when we were in the process of talking about her memories and I was trying to integrate some of what she knew from that time frame, she was very reticent to believe, I think, that this was actually going to be a book that other people were going to read. And in fact, on Saturday, I'm going out to San Diego, which is where my dad's family is from, where my grandfather was, where the family lived. And I've got 2 book events out there, and I'm really excited about that. And she's now become my #1 promoter. At age 86, she's really, she's so supportive and really excited. And again, I think it's this generational shift from keeping these kinds of things secret and understanding that we all have struggles. Everybody's got family struggles. And I would say my brother has gotten the book. I haven't heard from him. I don't know what he thinks of it. We're not in real great contact. And as far as I know, my mother doesn't even know about the book. So who knows how long that will stay a secret. But for now, my friends have been very, very, very supportive. Everybody that's read the book has given me such wonderful feedback on it. And I'm grateful for that because I worked hard on it and I wanted it to be something that wasn't just, this happened to me. I wanted it to be something that people could read and enjoy and get something out of.
Yes, I read it too. And there is a lot in there for other people. It is, as you mentioned, very relatable because all of our families have things like that. And when you brought those letters in, it's like peeking over someone's shoulder while they're looking at their personal life paging through in front of them. And there's an appeal for that, even if someone's family isn't similar, can relate to some of the incidents and some of the emotions. They can enjoy peeking at someone else's family. Maybe not so much peeking, but taking a drink out of the end of that fire hose or backyard garden hose.
Exactly.
Do you have any advice for other authors like you who might be writing a similar type of book?
I think what's really important, especially for memoirists, is deciding what you want your book to do, because we all have stories. I just think, and this book has opened up so many conversations with so many people about their stories, and everybody has a story. The question though is what do you want? Do you want a book that other people are going to read? What do you want to do as far as publishing? Because for us memoirists, unless we are a celebrity of some sort, we're not getting the agents that want to take us over to Penguin or Simon and Schuster or any one of those big places. So I would say do your research on publishing options. Get with writers groups like this fabulous Women of Words in Minnesota. Find people who will support you and encourage you, and that you can bounce off ideas. Tell you, oh man, you're good luck with that, or whatever. Just it's important to get people around you that are supportive, because I do think we are all, as writers, very self-critical, and to be able to have people that can pull you out of that and encourage you, that to me is so important. And I'm so grateful for all the support that I've had.
Good advice. I will put your any web address and links that you send me after the fact. I'll get those on the screen, plus an image of your book, so that the viewers will have everything at their fingertips to get more information if they need it. And I have another question. I seem to remember at a meeting you mentioning there were some surprises in the publishing process. What was it that surprised you the most as you felt your way along this first time through?
Well, I guess it's hard to even think back now, because now nothing is surprising me anymore. But it is, again, it's so important to find folks that have been where you want to be. And I will say a wonderful surprise that I had was a New York Times bestselling author giving me a blurb. That was a huge surprise. And again, I think you just have to ask. And I think you're going to get a lot of people that are too busy and don't have time. This author was the nicest person. She read the book. I mean, I know sometimes you can get blurbs from people that don't read the book. They've got a general blurb they can give. But I think, I was surprised at how many folks were just so generous with their time, with their knowledge. And again, it takes work on our part to get, to send those emails, make those phone calls or whatever, but you just never know. You never know what you're going to get. And it's just been really great.
Oh, that's wonderful. Well, this has been great talking to you about Crossing 51. And thank you so much for being on the show today, Debbie.
Well, thank you, Nadia, and thank you for everything that you have done for me along my little journey from lawyer to writer. It's so appreciated, more than you know.
Hanging with my friends across the street.